I'm desperate for content when I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a video talking about advertising. I should probably ask my mate Harry to come by and talk about it because he's like, has a degree in advertising. But, okay, there's a weird thing called mobile gaming. You might not have heard of it. It's pretty unique to people who have mobile devices, which is everyone, isn't it? Almost. So I don't like playing video games that often. I'll play Switch games, good enough for me. I have a PlayStation, Xbox, whatever the fuck. So I have a variety of games I can play. I've been playing games since I was a child. It's just my preference is not having to really think about something. I like to just not having to put my own actions into something outside of clicking the play button on a DVD. But I still love some video games like Bioshock, fucking mint. But I have started playing over the past couple of months a game called Tiny Tower on my phone. This is not an ad, but it is me talking about advertising on mobile games because I think Noah, my younger brother, was playing it a few months back. This is maybe around February, April, May period. April, May period because I started my new job in April, but it was around May that I got the flu, and it was around then I started playing it. Because he was, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Tiny Tower. I haven't played that for, like, years, because I had it on my old iPod, which was my first ever smartphone device, basically. And I played it for a long time. I played it for, like, maybe a year straight. I obviously haven't played it since then, so cut to about 9 or 10 years later, and we get to 2022. So I downloaded the game, I played it for a bit, figured out that there was all this new stuff and whatever, like golden tickets or whatever. So I went back and forth on discovering stuff and learning about the game and learning how to play it better and whatever. So I've been playing it for the past couple of months. This isn't a review of the game, despite them now having events and stuff. Really, 2022 was a perfect year to start playing it because they started adding in events like the 4th of July one, which was really busy and I didn't like it, but it got me a lot of like bonuses, like golden tickets and stuff, and that was like, oh hey, so what is this shit? What is this? All this extra stuff that this game has now involved. But the thing is, what they do every few hours, it's usually every 6 hours, they have these bonuses that you can get. Basically, it's a selection of 4 different bonuses, and all you got to do is watch an ad for it. And I'm like, okay, that sounds fine, because it's an ad, it's not bad, Usually they're at most 45 seconds. It really depends. Because there's the video part of the ad, and then there's oh, here's the testing gameplay, which usually you get to test out a level, and then it'll tell you to download the game, or you go to click on it to play the level, and instead just redirects you to playing the game. And I'm like, to downloading it and whatever. So they have their 4 categories for that. You can get extra coins, bucks, which are little cash thingies. Of course, it's still a kind of a mobile game with microtransactions, so you can still put in your own money to buy extra stuff and perks and stuff. Which, if I'm going to be honest, the only reason I would do that would be to get this a VIP package, which is pretty cool. You get it's because there's a fucking tower, you have an elevator, you got to click and hold for the elevator to go up. If you wait for the halftime sale, it's like $30 and you get that extra perk which shoots you straight to the top. By itself, it's auto elevator, auto lift. There are some benefits to paying the game for stuff like that. Also, it does support the people as well as you watching these ads. So you're like, okay, I'm supporting the people, I guess. I don't really know how much it supports them. Because it's is it the kind of thing like YouTube where you watch the ad but you have to click on the ad and get redirected into that link for the person to actually get monetization? Or does that not count? I don't know how that works. Trust me, I've tried to figure it out. Sponsorships are obviously the better option. And that you actually, again, have to interact with the ad, basically. Most of it's US equivalent stuff, so I don't bother. Except for that one time I did a VPN, which has paid off because I got the Criterion channel. So that was the only reason I used it. So, advertising in games. What do I really want to talk about here? So, I can probably screen record some of these games, and I might when I get around to finally editing this. But most of the games are usually fine. Some of them are puzzle games, or it's oh, it's a crossword, whatever. The ad will either instruct you as how to do it, or whatever. Some of them are very obvious gambling ads, you said this slots game would give me, free money and whatever, but it was a scam. And then they're no, well, you got the wrong app, and I'll show you, and this is how it works. those ads are really bad. Like, they're really creative, but they're obnoxious. Uh, it's like watching betting ads. But if it was actual betting ads, like for like sports bet or whatever, I'd be like, get fucked. I'd probably delete the app. But because it's just for like slot games and I know I'm not going to download, I don't give a shit. I've only downloaded 2 of the games that's advertised to me because they're like, click a button for a bunch of people to run, and then they destroy this or do that and whatever. Most of them are just people getting shot out of cannons. I don't know, they're just other games. They're not gambling or anything. They're the same kind of thing where you win a level and then they'll be like, one of them was like a pipe game where you move these pipes around so liquid can flow through it. That got boring really quick. Yeah. So I have downloaded some games, not directly through the app. I've actually like screenshotted it and found it later and whatever and been like, I'll download this for a couple of days, see how it goes, see how boring it is. Because a lot of it's the same repetitive thing, and if you don't care enough to play it or to invest your time into it or to invest your money into it, because you can also watch ads, and you half the time are forced to watch ads anyway. At least with Tiny Tower, you're not forced to watch ads. You don't have to watch any of the ads. It will have people come down on the parachute to give you bonuses, and you can watch ads to get more money in-game. Which is fine, because I know that I'm using that money in-game to buy more floors, or to upgrade this, or to do that. So the perks are obvious, whereas in the other games it's like, oh, you can upgrade your weapons and stuff, or get like this weapon bonus for this one round, and I'm like, I don't really care. I should be able to suffice on what I already have, because that's basically pay to win, despite me not paying. I'm just watching an ad. My issue, despite the gambling ads, which again are the most creative ones, but they're still terrible, all the ones where they involve a cameo person, so as in like they get a celebrity from a minor TV show to come in, and half the time they weirdly dub them over or not. I don't know. There's one of those guys from, hey guys, it's me. I played this character in Suits. You remember me? I'm like, I never even watched the fucking TV show, so sure, whatever. One of them's a recent one of a chick doing a puzzle game, and she's like, oh, you know from me from the hit Netflix show, and while I'm waiting for people to show up, I like to have a game where it doesn't require Wi-Fi. I'm like, why would it matter? Everyone has fucking data on their phones these days. Who gives a shit if a game requires Wi-Fi? The only reason you want to turn off Wi-Fi if you have a game is to stop the ads from playing, because then the game can't connect to the internet, so you can't watch ads, and you can keep playing the game. But because it's a smartphone, you want to be able to have people message you at the same time, so you want your Wi-Fi to be on. It's really a trick situation, isn't it? But so the stupid ads like that and whatever, which I still find hilarious. Like, these people have like sunk this low, but hey, they're getting paid, so what does it matter? They're actors. So my main issue with a lot of these games, the ones that are actually games, whether they're authentic to the ads or not, because that's also a different thing, where one of the cameo guys was like, oh, I really like this puzzle game because it's exactly like what the ads show you. And to be fair, it is exactly what the ads show you, because I've played that game, and it is exactly what the ads show you. So I'm like, I mean, that's a good convincing selling point, because half of the ads aren't what they show you. They're either merge games like that fucking Merge Dragons, or that one about the goddamn mansion and your grandma secretly killed your fucking husband, or some bullshit. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to play your stupid goddamn puzzle game to figure out a goddamn mystery that I don't care about. I don't care if the cinematics for the animation looks pretty nice, you know. It's clearly you have enough of a budget because you're getting enough free money to do that and to advertise. So if your game can be advertised to me, I know that somehow I have to pay for that game. Whether it's in my time of watching ads or actually, in-game transactions. They're not technically microtransactions, because those are for like bigger AAA titles, for like paying for perks and shit. But still, it's still another in-game transaction. Which most, if not all, mobile games have, and it's fair. Do what you gotta do to survive. I don't care. If the perks are beneficial, then sure, go for it. Do whatever you want. And usually it's pretty cheap, but it depends on who you're asking. So, my main stickler for what I really, really hate with some of these ads are the ones that emphasize, and these are the ones you can't even play half the time because it's just a video of someone's gameplay, even though it's not actually authentic to the game half the time. And they're usually all puzzle games, ones where they try to use negative reinforcement. One of them is a puzzle game where it's a big like rectangle, and all of the pieces have arrows, so you got to click on them for the arrow that'll go that way, and then it'll shoot out that way, and it'll to get rid of all of the blocks. And it's like only left-minded people will be able to figure this out. But not just that, they've got stupid quotes like that. They've got like animated characters who are like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you taking so long? What's wrong with you?" And like using negative reinforcement. There's that. There's the one that's I've played this game 3,333 times and I still can't win it. How is that meant to convince me? They're all mostly reverse psychology. They're using negative connotations and trying to put you down as a person to like utilize, oh, if we attack their ego, because this is a simple mobile game, then they're going to download our game and play it to prove to us that they can beat it. But then they've fallen into our trap because now they're watching other ads for other games doing the exact same fucking thing, and we're getting paid this time rather than us paying for the ads. So that's my main issue with a lot of these games, for a lot of these ads. Like, a lot of them are long, bloated, stupid. There's one in particular that's trying to show you how to do a fucking crossword, and it takes 45 seconds. And then once that part of the video is done, you get another 15 seconds of testing out the crossword yourself. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I know how this game works. It's a fucking crossword. I'm not an invalid. So it's like... But again, it's all about putting you down. So I love the ones where they're like, this is the most satisfying thing ever, and they're showing like a stock footage of a fireplace, and then they show you the most OC, like a game that would make ADHD people want to fucking destroy their phones. And I'm like, how is this meant to be relaxing? It's all these hundreds of items that you got to categorize into something. I'm like, how is that relaxing? I'd like to categorize this shit, but fuck, does that make me stressed? But it's like, it is kind of relaxing at the same time. So I guess, but this is shit I love. I don't give a shit for digital things I can't interact with. Fuck, I wonder if I should invest in NFTs. Anyway, so that's one thing. Like, there's this, this is satisfying, or the complete opposite of, this will make you fucking hate your life. And you suck, you can't beat this game.
Why are you so slow? I don't have all day here. Hey, loser!
And the only way to prove it is to download the game. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? Like, how stupid do I have to be? But then there's the ones that go even further. There's this one particular one where it's just a simple game of you just got to move the right things out of the way so that shit will come through a pipe and help these animated characters. And most of the time... And it's got this one particular one of recent, which I don't want to name any names, but I can't remember what the fucking name of the game are anyway, because that just shows how bad the advertising is. I remember what the characters look like and what the game does, but I don't know the name of the game. At least Merge Dragons makes sense, because it's in the fucking title. But this one in particular, has this storyline that's showing you through this ad, of like, oh, because the AI who's controlling where these things are going, the characters aren't getting what they need, and because of that, they've gone poor. One of them's dying, and then now there's like, oh, the mother's dead now. It's only the daughter, and the daughter's dying as well, and you need to be able to help them. I'm not going to buy your game if it involves watching people die. I know that they're animated, but still, it's like, what the fuck? There are so many like that where it just emphasizes a negative connotation, whether it's putting you down as a person or it's showing something that's really desperate or depressing, and it's trying to emphasize that you can go in there and fix it. You can do this better than we can or whatever. But my main antithesis is, what exactly is the point is this? Like, I will look at these ads and be like, I'm not going to download these games that involve negative connotations, that are trying to put me down to emphasize me getting the game to play it to make myself feel better, because it's like, hey, I can play this game and it's actually really easy, and these games, or the person who was playing the game in the ad is just a moron and I'm better than them. Like, it's meant to, like, I think, again, it's meant to do reverse psychology. It's meant to make you feel bad, but then make you be like, oh, well, I can do better, so I'll play the game and show them. Nah. There are so many games like that. What was the other one? There's one where this is King who has to get across a bridge, and it's a puzzle game. You just got to get rid of all the blocks, and if you don't get rid of them in time, they'll freeze to death or they'll drown. And it's like, a lot of them are just trying to show you what the point of the game is. And it's fine, I get that. But it just pisses me off. Like, again, I don't even mind the gambling ones anymore. Like the ones that are just about slot games, because I'm not gonna play slot games. I'll play puzzle games, sure, because it's a fucking iPhone. I'm not gonna play anything else on my goddamn iPhone. Like Tiny Tower, it's a fucking tower. You're just building a tower. That's the whole point of the game. You know, whenever my girlfriend sees me playing, she's like, "Oh, what level are you up to now?" I'm like, "Well, technically, I've done like 6 rebuilds, and I'm on like level. I've got 54 floors, so I'm ready for my next rebuild. But there's an event happening right now, and if I don't finish the event with a good amount of stock, then I won't get more rewards. And it's just like there is no winning. It's all progress. I don't mind games like that because at least the progress is." I give a shit for this tower to survive, but I could easily delete the game and move on for my fucking life. But it's a nice game to just play on the train or to just fuck around with because I can't be bothered reading a book. It's just, there's so many fucking ads that are like that. Oh, look, it's ready to be restocked. Any ads right now? So, again, this is how proof that I have paid for this game. I get this thing where I can, like, get a free gift, which is basically every 5 minutes I get $20. But it has these quotas. So in 5 hours and 20 minutes, it's going to let me, restock all of those, but they'll be different things. You know, do I get bucks? Do I get a free product stock? Do I get this? Do I get that? Does it fucking matter? No, it doesn't. Some of them one of them is about these animated characters running, and they have to go through 2 different gates. And obviously, you being the normal person is like, oh, if you go through the larger numbered gates, like this times is you by 4, or ages you 500 years, all this kind of stuff. And like it basically starts you off as sperm, because why not? And it's like, oh, if you go into this gate, you age by like 50 years. Now you're a human. And if you go for this game, this gate, you age by 200 years. And now you have bows and arrows. And it's like, okay, cool. So the point is to evolve more and to make more people so you can, between each gate, is a selection of people to defeat. And you get to a point where you have to defeat a whole bunch of just animated characters who are usually bigger than you and have a bigger army. So the better your age, the better your weapons, the more people you have. That's the kind of thing. It's just basic math. But then always in the ads, they like go for like, you can see them heading towards the higher number and they're like, no, I'm going to go for the lower number. And it's like meant to infuriate the viewer to be like, no, this is how you play the game. Download it and play it yourself. And be like, yeah, shit, this is how you do it. It's a trap. It's all a fucking trap. It always has been. At least the games where they like try to show you what the game is about. And they don't use negative reinforcements because then they're like, oh, this is how the game works for 10 seconds, for 15 seconds. Here's how you can play it for another 10 to 15 seconds. And that would convince me to play it. Like there's another game, what is it? It's called Mob Control. It's the latest one I've downloaded again. I don't download most of these for long, usually a week at the most. And I've downloaded the game, and it's basically you're just shooting guys out of a cannon, and you've got, again, these multiplier gates that they go through. And that's a simple ad where it just shows you how the game works and you have some kind of control, but then after a certain amount of taps it'll refresh it and be like, you gotta go play the game now, whatever. I never download through that thing. I just go to the App Store and find it separately. Most of these will steal your data anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just one of those things of when it comes to effective advertising, it's a mobile game. I want you to show me how the game is played and taste test it. So that's why I downloaded Mob Control, because I felt like playing something like that. It's really mind-numbing. It's basically the equivalent of going on TikTok, but being more of a waste of time, because TikTok's usually pretty fucking great. But they'll advertise fucking Pokemon Go. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, Pokemon Go, that's a good ad, because it's 15 seconds long and I don't have to worry about it. But you know what that does in its effective advertising? It shows you, like, oh, you're walking around in the public. Look, it's a Pikachu. Catch it. Oh no, you failed catching it. Here, use a berry. Now you've used the berry and the Pokeball and you've caught it because that's how the game works. And that's how it works. But it also, there'll be that ad. There'll be one showing you 3 different types of Pokemon that you can catch, and then it'll have you showing those 3 Pokemon with you in the real life, which is pretty cool. Or there's the one where it shows you the egg, and it's like if you do a certain amount of walking, your egg will hatch. It shows you 2 different types of Pokemon. Like, it's like, oh, you got a Magikarp. Wow. hippity ho, you got a fucking magic up. But the other one it shows is a Togepi, which is a rarer Pokemon. It doesn't emphasize how it's rarer, but you can just see from the image that the stats are higher and stuff like that. I don't know how Pokemon Go works. I've never played it. It came out when I had a shitty old iPod and I couldn't play it because it didn't work, and then I never downloaded it, and I don't care. I know to some degree how it works because my brothers still play it. But it gets them gets my older brother to go outside and he plays fucking video games with his friends, which works fine. That's an effective game, and that's an effective ad because it shows me how it works. It doesn't get me to play the game. No taste testing there because that would be too much. Because you'd have to have it in your environment, you'd have to be able to swipe up and do your magic tricks to let the Pokemon get caught. Instead, it just shows you what the game is, and it's very simple, and it works. And I think that's an equivalent ad to tell me what the game is and convince me to play it. It emphasizes it's Pokemon, you can walk around, you can get Pokemon from eggs, you can interact with Pokemon in the real world. That's the point of it, and it works, and I think that's a good ad. It's simple and to the point, and it's a really quick ad as well, so to get like a bonus stuff in my game of Tiny Tower because of that works fine. But then if it's like, oh, you have to click on this ad to download this slots game because it'll give you $2 trillion worth of bonuses, whereas all the other games, if you have to pay for them, that means they're scams, and they're not real. The amount of times they emphasize that, if you have to pay for a slot game, it means it's not real. If you have to do this for a slot game, it means it's a scam. Our game, on the other hand, will give you $3 trillion worth of crap, and you'll end up becoming addicted to crap. The other ones are the ones where it's like a shooter game, where you'll shoot a dot and it'll unlock a lot of other dots and progress you through. But you get real money. These are the ones that I find hilariously dumb. They look like shit, they are actual shit. Usually developed by Chinese companies, so I'm like, great, stealing my money and my data, wonderful. But I like looking at the reviews. Because a lot of these games, the puzzle games and all that stuff, you'll look at the reviews because it'll show up the App Store tab thing. It doesn't jump you into the App Store, it just gives you a pop-up menu to download the game. Really easy way to download the game as well, which is effective. But I go to the comments and the reviews because I want to see what these people review it. And my favorite type of review is 5 stars. This game fucking sucks. I've been playing this game for a few weeks now and it was really fun at first, but now you get to a certain point where you got to pay to progress. You got to watch an ad after every single game, which really deflates my experience and all this kind of stuff. Half the time the developers will fucking respond, which is even more hilarious to me. And it's like, oh my god, who gives a shit? But it's just hilarious how many of these people are saying that these games are scams or they're just money leeching and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I myself am not fucking stupid. It's an iOS game. It's a game, or even Android game. It's a game for a mobile device. It's gonna want you to give it money at some degree, whether you're watching ads constantly or you're paying to continue progressing through the game. And I hate that about a lot of those games. It's one of the things why I think I have been fine with Tiny Tower, because there's a different amount of benefits. If you're playing a game without wanting to spend any actual money on it, then every time you jump into the game, it'll be like, you earn this amount of money from the stores in the game because you've been away for 5 to 10 minutes to a few hours. And there's the bonus of, you can click 2 times it by 2, you watch an ad and it multiplies it. Then there's the extra 4 ads that you can watch every 6 hours. And then there's the parachute people who will be an ad every once in a while, which is fine. Sometimes I can just be like, no, you can decline the parachute ads. You can decline not watching the *2 ads. If you accidentally click on it, then you're fucked. You got to refresh the whole entire app to get out of it. But the other 4 that come with all those obvious bonuses, I don't mind watching. Every 6 hours, I'll go to the game. Sometimes I'll be asleep. I'll wake up the next morning, watch those ads while Mom's driving me to work, because I don't have to watch the ads because I'm looking outside and I'll be like, okay, ads done, click X, go to the next ad, get it over and done with, get all those perks, move on with my life. The game never forces me to watch ads realistically, except for those 4 ads that are there. And the game doesn't, you unlock the new floor, now you have to watch an ad. It doesn't force you to watch ads. It emphasizes you paying for the game at some stage, like, hey, there's a sale on for this, or hey, because of this event, you can pay to get these bonuses and stuff. And sometimes, fine, if you really want to do that stuff because it cuts out a lot of time, sometimes the golden ticket thing is a real bonus of like, hey, if I actually paid $5, I'd get like 5 golden tickets, and that would make life in the game a lot easier because then I don't have to go through 5 different rebuilds, which would take like a whole month. So it actually saves you as a player a lot of time, so a lot of the time that works fine. They have a VIP package, which is basically, again, the auto lift and all that. It's usually $60 every once in a while, it's $30. I paid for it recently because I kept upgrading the elevator to like the 10th speed, which is the max speed, but that doesn't automatically make it an auto thing. But the benefit of the game is by paying for that VIP thing, because I figured, fuck it, why not, you know? I'm earning that in an hour at work. I figured I'd pay it because I've been playing this game for months. That's the kind of thing where I'm okay to pay that amount of money. I've been playing this game for months. You know, how about I reward the people who are actually still developing it, who are giving us the events and doing all this beneficial stuff for the game, who are changing it and making it better. Plus, I get all these rewards too, constant rewards. So, there's stuff like that I'm totally cool with. So, yeah, that's why I like Tiny Tower. That's the moral of the story. That's basically all I have in terms of thoughts. I know there's been a lot of thoughts in this video. But yeah, so there's some fun facts for you. I still play the occasional mobile game. I don't care much for them. I don't like... They advertised Angry Birds 2, and I'm like, oh, that's great, because you can just slingshot birds at stuff. And it's nostalgic for me, because I used to play Angry Birds 1 when I was a kid. You know, so that's something I'd be willing to play, but I'm also like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, because I know I'll just keep playing it, you know. Even the one that's just mob control, I'm like, I can just turn that off after 10 minutes of playing it. Once I get to a few ads, I'm like, I'm fucking out of this thing. So, yeah, there's an obvious survival element to these games perpetuating ads, whether you interact with them or not, whether you turn off your Wi-Fi or not, you know. It's about how the ads are executed, how you're forced to watch them, how you can choose to watch them. I don't mind choosing to watch an ad to progress myself in the game. That, I think, is worthwhile because they're getting something and I'm getting something. Even if what I'm getting is not real and what they're getting is actual money. I know, it's stupid, but I don't give a shit. That works fine for me. Playing a level of a game and then immediately being forced to watch an ad is just annoying, as well as if the game itself has ads on the fucking base or top of the thing anyway. Like, if it's perpetuating ads everywhere, why the fuck should I... You know, it's like going on a bunch of, like, newspaper websites and stuff, and like there's ads every fucking 10 seconds here and there or whatever, fandom.com. Here's a big banner ad that when you scroll down it'll follow you, and you can't get rid of it for the first 10 fucking seconds, even if it takes up a third of the goddamn page, especially on a fucking phone. So ads are obviously beneficial to those who utilize them. The billions of dollars that they get from revenue is outstanding. And it has obviously changed the face of advertising as a whole because of mobile games and the fact that everyone can access it. Obviously, ads are annoying to mostly everyone. I don't see anyone who doesn't think an ad is annoying. Targeted advertising is obviously efficient, but I think that video games don't know how to do targeted advertising, which I kind of enjoy, because if they were doing targeted advertising, I'd be getting a lot of movie ads. And that would be annoying. So instead it's ads for stuff I don't care about, so I can ignore them. So, you know, ads are bad, but they're good at the same time. If it's an ad per level, I'm not going to play that game. If it's an ad that I can choose to watch, fine. As long as I'm getting something out of it in-game, usually. Which I usually am. Anyway, that's all for now. You know, let me know if you're playing any fucking shitty-ass mobile games that makes you regret life. Obviously, there are better mobile games that's like, you know, oh, here's God of War on your phone. I'm not going to play that shit. I used to play that shit as a kid. I used to pay to play those kind of games as a kid because that's the only device I played stuff on was like my iPod. I'm like, yeah, I want to play this game with the best graphics, even if it's laggy as shit because it's on an iPod. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time when I'm probably not complaining about mobile ads. I don't know. It's a unique experience. It's not a unique experience. It's something that I don't deal with usually, unless it's on fucking Twitter or Instagram, and they're like, here's an ad. I don't want an ad. Fuck off. Bastards. Get rid of the ads. Ugh.